That's a Shimano Dior 10-speed, just holds the inner side of the cassette smooth, or there's any damage, just get an old piece of chain. So what we're going to do now is fit a new cassette to this bike. It is pretty much identical cassette, it's just a smaller ratio on the outer cogs, but we're going to show you putting this cassette on to the bike. We'll just take that cassette out, just unclip that, whole cassette comes off like so. That's a cassette, that's a Shimano Dior 10-speed cassette. So this is an unusual sort of setup. This is off a Trek Marlin 6, so it's just got an Allen key, standard 5mm Allen key. So you put that in, you just back that off all the way while sort of holding the wheel at the same time. You back that off until it's loose enough to take out, like so. Then the wheel will literally just fall out of the bike. So quick note, we did not need to replace the derailleur at all. This is all still good condition. Might need a little bit of a cleanup. You can do that as you go along.
We don't really need to touch the derailleur or any other adjustment.
It just moves out of the way like so. It just moves. So removing the cassette, we're going to need a cassette removing tool. Just holds the inner side of the cassette. You push that into the cassette like so.
So this tool is a standard tool, or is there different types?
There's only normally 2 types on most bikes. This is a cassette tool, the other one's a freewheel removing tool. That's just the cassette. Then we've got a chain whip, which holds the cassette, because when you undo this, the cassette wants to spin with it. So we need this cassette whip tool to hold the cassette in one spot. So you hold that with one hand, and with this tool, you unwind that cassette until it comes off. Should be about 5 or 6 turns, and then that comes off. So put that down, remove the cassette chain whip tool, then literally the cassette just slides off like so. Then you put that back all together. Then we also check the cassette body to make sure that's not smooth or there's any damage on that cassette as well. And normally give that all a good clean up as well to remove any grease. So just going to demo how to install the cassette. On your cassette body here, there's a little slot that is slightly wider than the rest of all these slots as well. So we just line that up with the widest slot and then the widest one on the cassette here. It's a bit wider than the rest. You flip that over and line it up with that on the cassette body. Then it just slides on nice and snug, and just give it a spin to make sure it's not wobbling or anything. Then get the next cog, line up the widest one to the widest one. So another thing we can do if we don't have a chain whip tool is to just get an old piece of chain and then put it onto the biggest cog like so. You just wrap it onto that big cog carefully. And then where it joins here, we can just clamp that with a pair of vice grips. So we just clamp it basically like so. And then that'll be tight enough so it won't move.
So we could use this method, say if we didn't have a whip at home and we're using the chain off the bike, and it's just an alternate method that can be done. Say you caught out on the road or caught out a little bit off guard. We're just tightening it up at the moment.
That's it.
That's an alternate method from George's Tricks.
Yep.
And go-tos.
All right.